Hi, friends. Welcome back to another episode of noseyAF. Today's episode is not really an episode, it's more of an ask. So, if this is your first listen of noseyAF, you might want to skip this particular episode and check out one of the past episodes. But I really don't mean to run you away because you're more than welcome to stick around and see if you might be able to help me with what I'm about to ask my regular listeners about. This episode will be just as fun, even if it's in a little different format from the usual. So, welcome back to the episode. Welcome back to Nosy AF. As I'm building up some episodes, I have some wish list topics that I would like to explore in this podcast. And since you're a listener of this podcast, this episode will serve two things. One, I'm asking if you know someone in these particular categories I'm going to talk about. And two, I'm curious what you think about these topics. So, here we go. So the first guest I'm looking for is someone who owns or manages a grocery store. In my neighborhood, we really need a close, walkable grocery store with a coffee shop, a hot bar, a smoothie cafe, the works. Me and my neighbors deserve it. And this has become a dream of mine to have a grocery store. And I have to be honest, it's really not a dream I'm pursuing though. Like I keep saying I want a grocery store, but I'm not like really working towards having one. Though I did recently join a co-op in my neighborhood, and this co-op is like in the development stages, so we don't have our store yet, but I don't know if that fulfills me. So who knows? I just know that I believe everyone deserves walkable resources. So boom, I dream of a grocery store. So if you know anyone who is a grocery store owner, please let them know. I would love to have them on the show to talk about the challenges and rewards of running a local grocery store and how grocery stores impact our communities. I got to get this dream on the road, like if I'm really going to do it. So, to keep it moving on the food tip, I'm also interested in speaking about food economics, specifically food deserts. Like, what does it even mean to live in a food desert? There are plenty of restaurants around me, so it makes me wonder, do I live in a food desert? Or is there some sort of checklist? Maybe it's about certain grocery stores or food offerings. I really don't know. And while I'm sure this is something I can just Google, what's the fun in that? I would love to know what that means. So I'm calling all food economists? Is that right? Economists. So I'm calling all food economists or urban planners because I welcome you to Nosy AF just to help me figure this out, help you figure this out, help us figure this out. The next subject is artists that focus on community engagement and have a place-based practice. So I sort of spoke about this in my episode with Ellen Mueller, but I'm still curious about making art that engages the community that can also be a business. So we can talk to many people about the same topics because everyone is so different. And that's sort of how you form your own philosophy. Some folks read books with this stuff. Me, I love to talk to people, get their ideas, and it helps me form my own ideas. And yeah, I guess I do read some books, but it's really about the people and what they think. So, for example, my dream grocery store, I would love for that to be a social art project. And I would love to create it from my own lens. I just love to speak to more artists involved in community engaged art, serving the community. So if this is you or somebody you know what to do. Send them my way. Another group of folks I would love to get my hands on are sneaker resellers. I remember watching this film and I wish I could remember the name of it, but it was about sneaker culture and I just found it fascinating. And sometimes I stumble upon an article or like listen to some folks on YouTube talking about selling sneakers, and I feel even some shoe executive's kid got in trouble around this whole sneaker reselling thing, because he had like access to these sneakers. Like his dad worked for a sneaker company. It's a whole world and I want in. Maybe I don't want to work as a sneaker reseller, but I'm just so curious about how folks are making money. We need like 80 incomes nowadays to manage our responsibilities. So we need to see what's going on with the sneaker reselling. All right. I'm just so fascinated by that culture. Like, what is going on? This next topic is still somewhat about food. So I want to host dinner parties as a project. And while I understand that dinner parties, supper clubs, all that kind of thing is not a new idea, it's new to me. And so I would love to speak to somebody who is an etiquette coach. And also I would love to speak to somebody who's a master at dinner parties. An etiquette coach is a total other business, but I love etiquette. I love knowing about those things and following them. And I follow some people on Instagram, but I thought before I reach out to them, maybe you might know somebody. I think, we're a family. It's cool to like get our own communities on the show and talk about these things. And so if you know somebody that's into etiquette, please send them my way. And also, if you or someone you know is a master at dinner parties and hosting, I would love to talk to them because I think it'll be really slick. My idea, I'll share soon, after I get this all fleshed out. But maybe, I don't know, maybe you and I will be having dinner together. That would be really, really fun. So, what do you guys think about these topics? As a listener, are these subjects that you'd be interested in? Are we even on the same page, or is this just me wanting to hear these people speak? Please let me know and also share if you have other suggestions for guests or topics. Your suggestions truly help shape this podcast, so please do not hesitate to reach out. And if you've enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, really wherever you listen to podcasts. And also, please consider signing up for my email list where there are updates on my studio practice. Thank you all so much for tuning into Nosy AF. Until next time, stay curious and keep being nosy. Bye.